we were very, very gun-shy because we were afraid to go in with other partners, to the point that when we decided on certain partners, we went with them to Las Vegas. And we spent as much time with them. And it was serious. You know, we sat down at the, I mean, this was more of a joke, but we sat down with them at, you know, at the blackjack table, and we start playing. And Shlomo isn't very good at playing. He's good at putting down the cards and saying, give me another one, but that's kind of where it ends. And Shlomo's losing money, and these people are looking like, what's wrong with you? And Shlomo turned around and said, I'm here, I want to see your reaction when I lose money. And if you think about it, it was so very important for us to know that and to get to that situation where we felt absolutely comfortable. Interestingly, we sold to an arm of GE. It's in the case study called Bison Capital. These people were our age. We look older than we are, and we just turned 40, and the problem is when we were 20, we looked like this. So we look older than we are, but these people were our age. We today are still very, very good friends with them. We were friends with them, and we are friends with them, and it was such a difference, the dichotomy, the polar difference between what we were dealing with and who we were dealing with, that when they came in to buy a minority part of the company, we were very gun-shy, but, you know, we were successful, Michelle.
First, congratulations on the Entrepreneur of the Year.
Oh, thank you very much.
How did you come to the partnership with TA? The recapitalization and part of that decision.
So what happened was in the beginning, it sounds like a Bible class. What basically happened, we sold about 30% of our company to Bison Capital, which was GE. After a while, you start saying to yourself, you're putting so much money in, everything you're putting in, you keep putting on the table, just like you do. Anybody's going to tell you to diversify, and it was time to diversify. It was time to say, you know something, somebody else is going to take some more of the responsibility. So on the one hand, we were saying, okay, we'll go to TA, but this is the first time in our careers that we were going to give up control. Yet, and this is a very important yet, a good entrepreneur who's really, really on top of their business and knows it very, very well and delegates, but doesn't delegate to the point that they don't remember anything, always has control. Because the people at TA or any other private equity firm know that they're not investing in TwinMed. They're investing in this situation. They're investing in Steve and Shlomo. So you always maintain a certain amount of control, whether the numbers show it or not.
And I'd like to add that when we did this deal with TA, they were not the highest bidders. There were at least 2 or 3 other companies that were higher. And since we had experienced what a bad investor, what a bad partner can mean to a company, a lot of our decision was based on the guys we were dealing with. And you know, I'm not just saying this because they're here, but I need a ride home. But they were from all the other people we were talking to, we felt that they were the most flexible, the most understanding, and saw the vision the way that we saw it. And that was something that was very important.
So you did more diligence, though, the second time around than you did
We
the
did.
first time. Yeah.
We did.
Absolutely. So we know more than you think we
Yeah.
know. Alec.
Can you talk a little more about the market itself? Because I was actually looking at some of the senior citizen homes, and they're not very profitable in general as a whole, like Brookdale, for example. So if you look at them, how is the market now? Do you have to price according to market in general?
Yeah, you know, there's really 2 types to this market. There's the assisted living facility, which is a lower acuity, and then there are the nursing homes, which is higher acuity. The nursing homes are more of a necessity when someone needs to go there. The assisted living is, I have some extra money, they can take care of me. So during the recession of the past few years, yes, the assisted living facility market tanked. The nursing home market, on the other hand, till about 3-4 months ago, was a stellar business, and Medicare just came out with an 11% cut, which is definitely something concerning to us. But on the other hand, they gave us an 11% raise, you know, a year before. So while the industry is complaining, it still is a very profitable business.
I'll tell you something about, and a couple people mentioned this. Ted mentioned it in the beginning. He was actually speaking about another company, the company that you had here previously. as far as I see, and as far as I've seen in the different companies that we've started, there's going to be a certain amount of luck and a certain amount of serendipity. You want to call it a higher, everybody to each their own. Is it a rabbit's fur or whatnot? You can call it what you want, but there's going to have to be a certain place in anybody's history where you say, the person got help here, or the person got help here, or without this it couldn't have been done. Like I said, where does the money come? Where does everything come from? You have to find somebody, or you have to run into somebody. It didn't necessarily have to be the people we ran into, and there could have been many other opportunities at different times. But anybody that is going to sit and tell you, and as you become more and more successful, I've seen that as people become more and more successful entrepreneurs, they actually talk into themselves how hard they work. And it's all because of their hard work. And I always say, washing machines also work hard. And they're not CEOs of companies. And the bottom line is, it takes, I remember going to one nursing home, and a nursing home owner. He had about 10 nursing homes, and he had been an entrepreneur for a long time. He was about 60 years old at that time. I was about 30. And, he said to me, don't be so nervous. I wasn't nervous, but he said, don't be so nervous. He says, I put my pants on in the morning the same way you do. So, and what I'm trying to get, by the way, I looked at him and said, you generally not pull your zipper up? Or is that just a sign? No, but my point was is that people will get to that point and sometimes end up losing because of it, where they just believe they're infallible, and they came to that. And they worked hard, and certainly you can work hard, but there's many people that work hard. That's generally not, in my opinion, what makes somebody an entrepreneur. Max? By the way, I don't know if I mentioned, my left eye doesn't work. It does. I'll get there. Well, we're with TA now, and every private equity firm does want an exit strategy, so we're probably nearing our exit strategy. My 10-year-old son did find out and said it was a very, very bad idea. He told me a couple weeks ago for us to sell because where are we going to get money from when we need it? And I was thinking about it afterwards. I'm going to have another meeting with him because he had made some good points. But yes, that is something we have to think about. We can think of whether we go with the strategic, whether we go further with private equity, whether we go public authority. Some people are better. I think generally people that have more of a leadership type tendency are not good with authority because it's like, why are you leading me? Why am I not leading you? So there's some of that. But I was at a point that I never really did well there. I was actually there, but I wasn't doing well over there. So it was never a question of when did I decide to become an entrepreneur. And I know that was brought up before. We always thought, my grandfather did this, my father did this. He'd come home from the office and he would be showing us toys that he had purchased and whatnot, and we would discuss it at the table, amongst other things like what my mother did wrong that day. So there was enough there that it was never a question of if we were going to do it. Hey, here's a great idea. It was a question of what we were going to do. And something I believe Guarv said. I don't know that I agree that you have to have passion for the product. I think you have to have passion.
It was kind of a natural
for us.
I mean, we were. I don't know if Steve mentioned this before, but we were, pretty much a team, growing up. I mean, when we grew up as toddlers, we were always in the same room, and everything we did together. And it was almost natural when I came back, to come into the business. The $250,000 was just, to help his crack addiction. But I'll tell you, I mean, we were doing this together. My mom is a health nut, and she used to send us to school with rice cakes, and it was our job to go to the regular kids and convince them that they're better than Kit Kats. And so we were working as good cop, bad cop, and doing the sales thing, literally since the beginning. And it was always our destiny. We were going to do this together. And we continue to look for ideas.
There are certain Medicare programs that I'm sure Ashley can tell you about or Maria. I'm sorry, it was Maria that can tell you about that Medicare Part B, and I'll tell you something interesting, by the way, at the end, that we can bill directly Part B, certain type of products. And one of the products is Enterals. And Enterals is nutrition that generally is put directly either through a nasal passageway or whatnot, is put through a patient. And we got into a situation where the government, they're looking to cut, and there's a lot of bureaucracy, and they just said, you're not allowed to sell these Enterals. And it was just like, you tell me it's day, and it was really dark, and it was extremely...
You're not allowed to sell the Enterals. You're allowed to sell them, you just can't bill Medicare for someone in a nursing home setting, which was completely not the law.
And as Maria can tell you, there's a lot of fraud out there, no question. You actually see it. You'll see people going on television saying, hey, why walk upstairs? We can give you a wheelchair automatic that'll climb you upstairs, and we'll get you Medicare approved. So there's a lot of that type of fraud, which I consider fraud. And then there's the regular type of fraud. But there's not fraud with Enterals because nobody ever gets into a situation where they go, I'm really feeling lazy today. I don't want to really drink. So why don't you just stick a tube down my mouth just today and let me go through. So just to quickly answer, by the way, the top person at that time was the administrator was Kerry Weems. Just to show you how life turns around a little bit, was Kerry Weems. He was the administrator who's appointed by President Bush. And he wouldn't give us the time of day, literally would not give us the time of day, and we were already up to about $20 million in receivables. We announced yesterday over the AP that Kerry Weems just became a director on our board. So things do turn around somewhat.
Friends in high places. Well, thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
So I'm sure Steve and Shlomo will be around for a few minutes afterwards if you want to ask them any questions, and you'll be able to pick them out, I'm sure.